A very important history skill to be able to crack any history essay is to be able to take a topic that you've been asked about and to break it down into different parts to evaluate. Just like if you were asked about, say for example, the greatest film of all time. You might break your answer down into a paragraph on storylines, a paragraph on special effects, and a paragraph on the stars in the cast. If you were asked to tell us the best football team in the world, you might break it down into players, trophies, and fan base. Sometimes your overall answer might not come up top in every category. For example, in my own opinion, Saving Private Ryan is one of my favourite films of all time, but it only really has one star in it, Tom Hanks, and therefore some other films might come out as the best film in that category, even if Saving Private Ryan is my overall answer. So even if you choose different paragraphs, for whatever your overall argument is, it doesn't have to win in every paragraph if you like. I mean, if you're thinking of the best football team analogy I gave, well, the best football team in the world at the moment, based on players and results, is not Manchester United, because they haven't come close to winning anything in the last few years, as of this day in summer 2016. But they do have the biggest fan base in the world. And this is what choosing paragraphs is all about, and being analytical. You might have your argument, but your argument doesn't have to win every paragraph. But choosing your paragraphs wisely is very important. It shows the examiner that you are able to look at the bigger picture and to break it down. Do remember for this podcast, as with all of the podcasts that serve multiple targets, you don't need to focus on absolutely everything. Focus primarily on the target you've been given and try to address that target. But if you're feeling a bit like you can do something else, well, there's no reason why not. But remember, focus on your own targets as a priority. Now, I don't want you to be stressed by my example paragraph, because it is quite long. So your paragraphs might not be this long, but what they definitely have is the bit at the start, which you can see is in yellow, and the bit at the bottom, which you can see is in red. The bit in the middle might be a bit shorter for you, but I just really wanted to show how I would go about doing a paragraph. Of course, if you're doing post-16 history, then it's not really that long, and it's the sort of paragraph you might be aiming for. After you've broken down your topic into different categories, so that you can include a different category for each paragraph, you must next make sure that you start every paragraph with a clear point that links back to the question. In terms of paragraph structure, basically you start with a judgment on your category, and it's best to include some words that are part of the question asked. The rest of your paragraph must be a mix of knowledge, analysis, and links back to the question. Some students find it easy to think of it as knowledge, judgments, and links back to the question. And if you're worrying about linking back to the question, just use keywords from the question. Anyway, without going over and over this sort of thing again here, what I want you to do on the next little section is to look at the targets, look at my example paragraph, look where I've put the things which I'm talking about into my paragraph, and try to do that in your paragraphs. So pause and have a little read, and as always, if you're a bit stuck, you're not sure, and you're in class, you can always put your hand up and I'll come and explain things to you. The key, crucial things to remember are: number one, choose your paragraphs wisely before you start. Start every paragraph with a judgment on whatever that category happens to be, and have a good mix of knowledge and judgments and links back to the question. Those are the things that you must have.